Okay, so now we're going to move on to step 2, which is cutting up the images. Really, we've only got 2 images to cut out because the rest of it we're going to do with CSS to create. So we need to get this background image and this image. So to do that, we need to use, there's different ways we could do it, but we're going to do it the old school way and use slices. So we're going to, this is where file organization sometimes helps. So I'm going to select these 3 things. This is my background, the gradient map. Oops, I got that mixed up. See how I've got my round rectangle in there? I don't want that in there. There we go. I want that gradient map in just this. So I'm going to grab those two, and I'm going to create a folder. And I'm going to call it background. Okay, and then I'm going to drag my gradient map and my background into that. I'm going to drag that down here. Okay. Then I'm going to get my wombat over here. So grab the ellipsis, the wombat, and you can hold down Shift to select all of them. Or if you want to select one by one, you can hold down Command. And I'm going to, this will be a little easier way of doing it. Layer, new group from layers. And it pops this up, and I'm going to name it Avatar. So now those are in groups. You can open them, close them. That just helps organize it a little bit better. Okay. So I'm going to throw the rest of this stuff into so I'm going to command click all these, and I'm going to create layer, new, group from layers, and I'm going to call this other. Alright, now see how that got dark in the picture? I'm going to drag it in between. So now I have 3 things, so I can see these things a lot easier. Well, I don't need to get an image for this, because I'm going to do that with code. So I only need these 2 images. So I'm going to create a slice. For my background image, I'm not going to use a slice. I'm going to do that a different way. But for this image, I'm going to use a slice. So first, we're going to do the background image. So I turn off my avatar, which is important. Then I'm going to go to File, Save for Web. It's going to bring up this dialog, and it could have 2 images, or you can do 4 up, or that. And what this is doing is comparing the different things. You can see this one has a lot more banding in it than this one, and allows you to try different settings. But we're just going to do 2 up, and so this is the original on the left. This is the one we're going to export. We want to do it as a JPEG, and 80% quality will be just fine. So we're going to save that, and it's going to ask us where we want to save it. And we're going to go to our desktop, because remember we created that PSDs. Actually, I'm going to cancel this real quick. Let's go to our desktop and organize this. I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm going to call it website. Okay, so everything for my website is going to go inside here. So my PSDs, I'm going to drag it in there. Alright, now I'm going to create a folder called images. I'm going to use all lowercase, and you can do a new folder on a Mac by either right-clicking new folder or using file, new folder. On PC should be you should be able to do it somewhere similar on PC. So I've created a folder called images, and that's going to be, it's empty right now. But this is where I'm going to put my images that I need for my website. And that's where all my images from my website will go. So let's go back here. Let's go to File, Save for Web. And it's a JPEG at 80. So we're going to save that again, because we didn't go through that last time. Going to go back to my desktop. Going to select website images. That's where I want to save it. And I'm going to rename this to background. Background.jpg. Okay, now that's saved. Now what I need to do, and we can go take a look at that, it is right here, background, JPEG. Spinny beach ball of death. Oh, it gave me an error. Let's make sure I can open that. Okay, yeah, it works. Alright, so that's done. So we just got one more image to do. Alright, so we're going to turn the background off and the avatar on. Now the trick is, we want to get this avatar and not everything else. If we export it like we just did, we get a big white thing with this little picture. So what we need to do is just select part of it. So you're going to go use your slice tool. And that is going to be under, let's see if we can find it. Wait for it. You can see how often I use the slice tool. There are better ways to export it, but this is the older way and good for you to learn. Aha! Okay, it's under your crop tool. So under your crop tool, there's slice tool. So what we're going to do is we're going to drag this, and we want to make it a square. So we could make it something narrow or something. Why we want to make it a perfect square. So hold down Shift. See when I put Shift, it makes it a square. So make it a square. Make it big enough to hold that picture. And see, it creates this box. It creates all these other boxes too. But we need to get that box. We're gonna move that box. Well, that didn't work. Grab slice. We're gonna move. Nope, that's resizing it. There we go. That box over here. Now it's gonna cut some of that shadow off that I had, and so I need to make it bigger. Oops, I drew another one. Good thing there's an undo. Alright, let's see, what are we at? We're at 234 wide. I'll make this 234 tall, that way we have a square. Okay, there we go. So now we have this box. Now, if we go up to Save for Web, File, Save for Web, it's important to have the background off. Now we can export this. But the problem is, when I export this, we can do it and show you. Now you can click on each slice individually. All we want to do is click on one slice, this one with a picture in it. So then we'll go to Save, and JPEG, we want a PNG, PNG 24. And we want to save it as avatar. And now here, I can do Format, Images Only, Settings. Leave that alone, Slices. It's going to export all the slices. I don't want that. I just want the selected slices because I selected that one. That's the only one I want to put out. So here we go. I'm going to save that. Let's go take a look at it. Oh, okay, there it is. Now there's a problem. Watch. If I drop this into my Photoshop document and I turn my background back on, look at this white box around it. That is not acceptable. Okay, so we can't do it that way. So let's turn this background off. Now the problem is this background is visible. So I need to turn it off, and now I'll be able to export a transparent one. So I'm going to go to Save for Web, and it's important to see now you see how it's white and transparent. That's important. So well, it's important to have it transparent. Now if I do a JPEG, JPEG doesn't do transparency, so I need to make sure it's a PNG, PNG 24. Now I'm going to export just that one slice by selecting it, saving, make sure this says selected slices, images only. I'm going to name it avatar. Boom. It's going to replace, yes. Okay. So now I'm going to turn this back on. Now I can save this again. I can turn these on. And that is all we need for slices. But let's go close this out. Well, we'll leave this open. Let's go take a look at our file. So website, images. We've got two images, avatar and background. Okay, well I'm going to rename avatar to just, because it had that 03 because of the slice, to just avatar. So now we've got our two images. So the next stage is going to be putting these images, text, and stuff into a HTML page. So this concludes that one, exporting your images. Now we're going to move on to the coding, okay?